Welcome back to the desk, folks. I am less parched now, and Allied is still here as well. We're going to move on to game number 2. Game number 1, if you're just joining us, went to Team Flex in spectacular fashion. I mean, they won. It was an average-length game, but that game was over before it ended.
I mean, I think the moral of that game was duo lane domination. We did see Oceans and Incon kind of take control right from the very first 2 minutes of the game and held that control until the game was over.
Exactly.
DaretoCare and Lassiz had really great support, being able to rotate, make sure they can have that dual lane domination. And Mattypocket played a very good support role coming out of the Soul lane. And interesting to note, Mattypocket was a support main beforehand. Most of his achievements competitively was because he was on a support, and he's showing great support play out of the Soul lane right now, and I think it fits him really well.
Yeah, bringing that Guan around to just assist the team during these team fights. And as we said, weren't able to see the final value, but there was about 15,000 healing done before the left Phoenix was taken and the eventual push for the win. So definitely a strong look. And then one more thing before we move on to the picks and bans of game number 2 was just DaretoCare on that Amaterasu jungle. You didn't like it at first. What changed that made you like it?
So I don't like it, right? I'm not the biggest fan of it. However, I will say he played a great supporting role helping dual lane get ahead, and that was the key thing. If dual lane didn't crush as hard as it did, I don't think it would have done as much. And that's not like my opinion on DaretoCare as in like he's, bad jungler. It's more of like the god specific.
Right.
It's like I don't really think she offers too much to the table. Maybe I would like to definitely get proved wrong again. Maybe he gets picked up again for the jungle.
Well, we'll take a look as we move into picks and bans. For game number 2, Team Flex versus NeiilMah. Neil on the left side with first pick one more time. Last time, we didn't see a Raven or an Kuang ban in the first shot, and that gave NeiilMah the Kuang, which didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think you're going to see this time and time again. Kuang, great ranked pick. Pick it first pick in every single ranked game competitively has flaws. And really, you can't get to that same extent of ranked carry that you can in a competitive game. And I think a lot of these relegation teams are going to have struggles kind of balancing that. Like, do we pick Kuang here or just do we not pick it? Do we let them have it? And I want to see what people do. As they do pick it again, maybe it'll shine this time around as we do see NeilM banning out the Isis Athena once again and the Khepri Yanis banned out for Team Flex. Same salty rematch.
You do that on purpose?
What?
Kuang gonna shine? Soulshiner?
Yeah. Oh, nice.
But so it's worth noting that Soulshiner, this is his playstyle. He plays these aggressive, in-your-face, go-for-the-kill assassins, right?
Yes.
Even at the high level of competitive. So Kuang is right up his alley. We'll see if it converts this time in game 2. And same picks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the salty rematch. This is actually really common
Salty
in NA.
rum? Yep.
Yeah, the salty run back, because this happens every single time, like especially with when I used to be on a team. But yeah, we would see a lot of the times people just run the same comp back, and we didn't understand why. It's like you just lost that comp. Why don't you switch it up a little bit? And NeilM is actually going to take my advice.
Love it.
Picking up the Guan you taking away from the Pickler.
Yeah.
I like that. And the Neith pick, again, I guess they really valued the Neith mid. Which, granted, Glick did okay. He didn't really do anything crazy, but that was because, dual lane domination.
Exactly. And, I liked what I saw out of NeilM as far as the Neith is concerned. Taking the Guan away from Matty does two things. One, Guan did great, and it sort of dominated them last game. And two, you mentioned time and time again how well Matty played in that support role in the solo lane. We'll see if Matty has a different side to his play. Taking the Guan forces him into a more aggressive pick in that solo lane.
Yeah, and we do see Matty W picking up, I would imagine the Odin could be either support or solo. I've seen Matty play a lot of Odin solo actually on his stream, so I wouldn't be surprised, but Incon, I know from previous experience, he loves the Odin support.
Well, could go in a lot of different places. A second round of bans coming out here. Chiron and Dusa take it off the table.
I love the Medusa ban, by the way. Take out the comfort. Force Oceans. Hey, you want to be a big boy? You gotta switch up your picks a little bit here. So I love the pressure onto him as Geb banned away for Team Flex. And NeilM's response would be...
Well, let's see. It's going to be a Sobek. So...
I like that. I think
NeilMah?
just take out the aggression play as Hui gets locked in for Oceans. Now we get to see his. I would imagine, so far Oceans' mechanics have been nothing but spot on.
Yep.
Now let's put that on Hui. I'm excited.
Mechanically, very mechanically intense. Ullr, on the other hand, also mechanically intense, going to be picked up by Neil. We'll see what their last pick going to be. Ullr, interesting
I think
character.
PandaCat can make something happen with Ullr here. I think
agree.
this is going to be battle of the dual lane. Both of these dual lanes are very aggressive. It's really going to come down to jungle mid rotations as we have Ymir.
NeiilMah, okay, you mentioned it. Dual lane domination happened game 1. NeiilMah felt it, and
Yes.
they're mad about it. They're like, all right, you want to beat us up? You're going to have to go against 2 of the most aggressive picks in that dual lane.
I'm so scared, though, because anything past the 10-minute mark, especially if that is an Odin support, that Ymir is going to get caged and camped, especially with DaretoCare's pressure in the dual lane. And, yep, it is Mattypocket's Odin solo.
So Amaterasu reprising her role in the jungle, most likely, unless they switch things around.
I mean, it worked okay, but let's see if it'll have the same effect as Team Flex kind of runs the same mid-jungle, which really, when you think of mid-jungle combinations, I don't really think Chronos Amy, but it's working right now. I like the response of just keep doing it until we lose.
Exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, as the old adage goes. NeiilMah, on the other hand, makes some changes, most notably in the solo lane, as we said. Guan picked up for DanteLeFargo, and more importantly, perhaps, taken away from Mattypocket with that selection. So Dante now looking to play more of the assistant to the team, and Team Flex's solo lane Mattypocket now trying to be the more aggressive person.
And it looks like Incon's all over this Khumbakarna pick. I know that this is kind of a big thing for him previously, but with Athena and Capri getting banned out nonstop these games, I do like the Kumba pickup. Even Subix getting taken away from him, so it's kind of opening up a very free Kumba pick for him to kind of pick up here to do what he needs to do. And we saw last game, Incon set up a lot of plays with the Khumbakarna ultimate. It's single target lockdown, but it's huge damage.
And that's the key point. Khumbakarna does 2 things, and he does 2 things very, very well. As NeiilMah going to go to look towards the mid-Harpies one more time. This time, Flex not contesting. Content to go stick in their own jungle. They don't want to be hurt like last time. But Khumba brings some of the best peel in the game and has that isolation, pick a target, and they'll probably die if you have the right people lined up.
Yeah, exactly. And it all depends on team composition. But we do have an early invade out of NeilM looking for the red buff. They couldn't get it, but Lassiz is in.
Slow.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to beads and actually just walk away as we do see Bladed Arrow miss. And NeilM...
They have to take boars for this to be worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If NeiilMah doesn't get these boars, then that invade was pretty much just a waste.
It's scary right now because you have to remember they're tanking boars and using their abilities on the boars. NeiruMah could easily die here. I'm not too sure where that went to, but NeiruMah is in a tight spot. But it looks like they're going to kind of back away. If Incon started with anything but belly flop, maybe that could be kill potential, but no guarantee of anything, as we do have a 2-man freeze. PandaCat is actually aggressing onto Oceans. Oceans is only level 1. He cannot jump away from this. There's the axe. If he can hit his bladed arrow, nope, not quite.
A lot of aggression coming out, though. PandaCat leading as far as the HP is concerned in this lane. Both members for Team Flex still level 1. And this wave will probably hit level 2, so you can see NeiruMah trying to zone as much as possible to try and create a situation where maybe they can get the kill at level 1, but fortunately not able to do so is NeiilMah, and they'll go in the jungle and clear themselves.
And this is, like I said, the response from last game. PandaCat and NeiruMah taking the aggressive tone here and putting Oceans and Incon on the back foot. And that's really what you want to do, especially against these experienced players. And a big thing, especially in competitive play, you notice a lot of these teams being aggressive early to set the pace of the game. And that's the key thing going into a lot of these matchups. You want to show that you can be aggressive and set the pace for your advantage.
Exactly. We always talk about the pace of the game when it comes to junglers, specifically how Thor dictates the pace of the game. Wherever Thor wants to go, Thor goes, and everybody sort of has to follow suit. How is that different in the dual lane? How do you set the pace of the game besides the invade?
A bluff aggression. I mean, even with the invade, they definitely could have, with Ymir and Ullr, they have so much lane control and power. Being able to just, like say, for example, PandaCat gets a lot of mana potions and jumps in every wave. It might not be necessary, but if he were to jump in every wave, your reaction might be different every time. Like, oh, the jungler could be coming. Why is he doing this? He could die, but I'm afraid. There's so many different reactions that go through your head and could really just put you on the back foot. And that's the key thing. You are kind of hesitant to react. You don't know what to do about it.
And that's why a player like Zapman was so dominant for so long. Because he was known for level 2, jump in, on her.
When you see Zapman Ullr, it's like he's jumping in at level 2. It's like, what is he doing? Like, oh, geez. Like, and then you're just immediately on the tower. And whether or not that would work or not, you don't know, but you don't want to chance it with this much on the line. And that's the key thing here.
Yeah, and just a refresher, this is how teams are going to make it into the SPL. This is phase 2 of 3 of Relegations. These players here have fought their way either through open bracket or entire challenger season. And the winners here will go on to face the bottom of the SPL. So there's a lot on the line. There is pretty much a ticket to the Smite Pro League, depending on how well these teams play.
Yeah, so we do see an early back. Looks like the Kuang is going for the boots too. Tiny Trinket start with Bumbas, so same builds coming out there. As it looks, NeilM is actually looking to invade the red buff again. They're going to tame Team Flex's red buff, and this is what they need to do, completely just pressure, especially in the enemy jungle, and set their team up for a win as we have a 4-man rotation on duel lane. Oceans and Incon have no idea it's coming.
Yeah, that's one of the big benefits of Ymir, is the ability to have all that pressure. Incon uses his ultimate already, toss it over the Suns. It's all about first blood. Who gets there first? Incon is in the sleepy, so Oceans gets credit for first blood. Soulshiner eventually gets the kill on Incon, but Khumbakarna passive secured first blood for Team Flex. That's 500 gold, and the fight's still continuing on. Aggression from Oceans. He's in between, though. JiminyGlick going to get taken out, it looks like. But PandaCat from the side makes sure Oceans does not confirm the kill. In the mid lane
Lassiz
for
is actually
NeiruMah.
in a tight spot. He could get World Weave here, but no.
Nope.
Glick decides to actually back up. And the key thing I wanted to talk about there was PandaCat's mechanics. That was beautiful, being able to pin down Oceans there and really just showing the power of Ullr, able to pick up the kill. However, the key thing of that fight was Oceans picked up first blood. As you mentioned before, the Khumba passive, too strong.
That was just, I don't want to say luck of the draw, but that's the issue with focusing on the Khumbakarna. A lot of times, early game, it's no secret that these tanks are not tanks until 10 minutes, right?
Yes.
You've got either Boots 1 and Winged Blade, or in North America's case, Traveler's Shoes, and you can actually see a differentiation. NeiilMah going that Boots 1 start we were talking about last game instead of the Traveler's Shoes.
Yeah, I like this start for Ymir, especially with the amount of slows or just overall increased movement speed that Winged Blade and the immunity to the slows that you can get with Winged Blade. I like this more on Ymir, who is an immobile support. You can't really jump in. You're not like a mobile support. You can't fly around the map. You don't have a global ult. But what you do have is Winged Blade to help you get around with relative ease.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the, I don't even want to say downsides to Ymir, because I feel like that word is not strong enough. Ymir's lack of mobility has been keeping him out of games for 2 years now, and right now, 3-on-2 in the mid lane. Soulshiner barely going to get out of there, but does get stunned. Great play from Chronos. Rotation with Mattypocket a little bit late, and he's going to get rooted out and
peel there by NeiruMah and JiminyGlick. The Pickler jumps over the right wall, immediately could cage in the Ymir, and immediately a freeze and then a root, causing him to go back to soul lane. That was a great response, as we do have healing, kind of DanteLeFargo healing up the squad, and he probably is going to make his way back to the soul lane side. I like the kind of response from the soul lane. Hey guys, here's a quick heal, I'm out.
Ping's coming out for the left-hand Harpies. 3 members from NeiruMah going to take a look at it. Soulshiner gets stunned, and a help out. Blink in from NeiruMah on to Lassiz, who's got the beads going. Ultimate's going to be strong. Lassiz will be on the right side, but a good stun prevents Lassiz from really pressuring too much. Mattypocket loses, or DanteLeFargo loses half of his HP, and down come the Suns thanks to Oceans. But a good heal is going to keep the members of NeiruMah up.
Yeah, that ricochet was absolutely amazing. Almost causes Dante's death, as we have the Pickler jumping in. There's the cage on JiminyGlick. NeiruMah is in a tight spot. He's probably going to go down
Oceans, though, is the one taking all the damage. PandaCat just piling arrows into the Hunter from the left side. NeiruMah 1 hit away. Gungir's might going to do it from Mattypocket. But now he's behind enemy lines. JiminyGlick has to avoid, and he can't. Double kill for the Pickler. 2 on the board. Or 3, rather, for Team Flex.
Yeah, that was definitely a Matty Flex situation. Able to chase down the support and then get a return kill on the way out.
You know, we asked before, hey, you know, he main support. We watched him do excellent work as Guan Yu. Is he going to be able to do it on an aggressive style character like Odin? Questions answered.
I mean, yeah, Matty was able to pick up a swift kill on the support. He's doing okay. He's doing good. 2-0-0, 7 minutes in the game. It's not bad at all, especially for Matty, as we do see him going into the breastplate of Valor.
So 7 minutes, 7.5 in, rather. Decent amount of damage going left and right. Team Flex leading by way of kills. And a very slight gold lead, but we don't report about 300 gold. It's pretty much tied up here, folks. And
that can swing anyway, especially
exactly.
depending on the pace of the game. And the pace of the game right now, NeilM is looking for some early aggression as they do force Incon's passive yet again.
Wow.
Soulshiner picks up that kill, credited 2-0 and 1. And if we do have a Dante aggression,
look at that.
Lassiz has his rewinds right now.
Nowhere to go. JiminyGlick with the basics takes out the mid laner. And, I mean, you talked about aggression, you talked about pace of the game, everything you talked about, NeiruMah took your notes. And they're doing exactly what they need to. Keeping up the pace, making sure the enemy can't really catch up, and Gold's Fury right away. The objectives after the team fights. Beautiful.
Yes, this is exactly what they needed to do. They took red buff, they take gold, they killed Lassiz because his rewind was on cooldown. The initiation out of Dante, just amazing, perfect play out of NeilM, and it's showing 4-3, and they do have a round of 2K gold lead.
Yeah, very, very good situation for NeiruMah to be in. And right now, it's really about what they do with their lead. We'll take a look at NeiruMah. So they've got a little bit of a lead, as you said, 1,500 gold or so. Honestly, the key here for NeiruMah is to not do anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I think if they could just play this standard and go into a very healthy team fighting phase while keeping the same pressure tactics, they can get more and more of a snowballed gold lead and an experience lead and use that to pressure some towers, some other objectives, and to win more skirmishes / team fights.
But that comes, exactly, but that comes later. For right now, NeiruMah just has to continue doing what they're doing. It's very easy to say, hey, we're winning all these fights, look how strong we are, and then get wiped.
Yes. So right now we do have Glick holding down the mid lane. As far as experience goes, it's actually pretty even in terms of mid lane and jungle pressure. Jungling wise though, Soulshiner has 3 levels on DaretoCare.
Wow.
Well, 2 levels, 3 levels.
And taking a look at the gold as well, it's almost 1,000. NeiruMah in some trouble. Incon, but Incon's by himself, and now Soulshiner, he's going to walk away. Yeah,
Incon forced to blow Kumba ult as he does get Guan ulted there. There's the Neith ultimate. Incon doesn't have his passive up and he goes down to Soulshiner. That's 3 kills. All of Soulshiner's kills have been onto Incon.
And this is, I mean, backwards from last time. Last game, NeiruMah was first blood. NeiruMah was second blood. And then Dual Lane just lost. Now, Incon was in first blood, but Incon has just been taken out 3 times so far, and Dual Lane is just ahead.
Yes.
Kind of quite the opposite game that we saw in game 1.
I mean, really, this is what I like. Soulshiner recognized the first game it was out of his hand. Most people would be discouraged from picking the same pick, especially first pick, as Lassiz get erased.
Just blown up thanks to the damage out of Ymir, and that's the thing. We talked about all of his Achilles heels, how he cannot move. Well, he doesn't need to move if he's able to just eliminate people like he just did.
Yes.
PandaCat making the rotation after that one team fight, or at least that one pick. And NeiruMah going to start looking at this tower. Might be a little bit too soon as Oceans makes his rotation.
I like this rotation out of PandaCat, even though he's forcing Oceans to respond to this because they got to pick middle, and now they're going to 4-man pressure this as we do have the Pickler, the Blink Odin ult.
Mattypocket going to lock in a couple, but everybody able to jump out. Soulshiner, on the other hand, going to get caught. There's NeiruMah's ultimate. Hurting a lot of people, but Soulshiner ultimately takes the most hurt. Oceans puts him in the ground and puts 2 kills on his own slash line for the Hunter from Team Flex.
Now, I thought the call would be for NeilM to let's put slight pressure mid to force rotations and then take red buff because that is a safer buff as it was coming up on the minimap.
And that's what they're doing
now. But it looks like they're just kind of, like, even though Soulshiner died, I think they could have avoided that death if they backed up a little bit.
And then that's sort of what we were talking about. I mentioned, I said, hey, I want to see NeiruMah do nothing.
Yeah.
I want to see them continue. And NeiruMah did something.
Yeah.
And they lost their jungler for it. As you said, they were able to pick up the red buff, and they're, it's not a complete loss, but I agree with you. I don't think that Soulshiner really needed to take a spill there.
I think they overstayed their welcome, and that was the big thing. They weren't exactly ready to push that tower yet. I mean, it was good play, but not exactly necessary, as we do have 2 Breastplate of Valors coming out for the Warriors, the Jungle Warrior and the Soul Lane Warrior, and we have a Hottie the Urchin coming out for Incon. I don't know if I actually agree with this. I mean, I like Hottie the Urchin And I think it's a fairly cheap item, but I don't know if it's worth rushing first. As we do, Incon is getting focused yet again as he's forcing a passive form for like the 4th time this game.
And the basics coming out of PandaCat. Good stun out of Oceans, but it's just not enough. Jump's going to follow up. Beads are strong, the turnaround, but with Amy here, DaretoCare is able to put a dot on the kill. PandaCat taking the death. And the rotation out of mid, JiminyGlick should be fine.
Great
just
sanctuary out of Oceans there, recognizing the damage potential. As DanteLeFargo in the mid lane, looks like he just dove Lassiz.
Comes around the backside, just gets the old okey doke in the mid laner right there. Laz is completely surprised. Oceans confirms the pig with the long range ricochet.
That's good.
Good shot out of Oceans right there to confirm that. And now, NeiilMah can push this tower. It's 3-on-1. Backside comes JiminyGlick. Incon taking a lot of damage. Nowhere to go.
Incon's been on the back seat for a lot of these engagements as the
That's
Odin
a dead
cage is
Kuang.
going down, and yeah, Dante immediately erased with the Sons of Hu-Yi.
Everything that made Team Flex win game number 1 has seemingly been absent until that moment.
Yes.
Team Flex has sort of been by themselves, almost like a solo situation, but that situation, Incon got locked under the tower, everybody showed up.
But despite being on the back foot for most of the early game, look at Ocean's scoreline, 3-1-1. Still, even with Incon being so severely far behind, not even, okay, he's not severely far behind, but he's dying a lot. He's definitely on the back foot. And Ocean's being able to pick up these kills.
3 stunned, and Gold Fury is going to be leashed. Team Flex very low, and Lassiz needs to find a way out. Beads are gone. There's a lot of damage onto NeiruMah from Mattypocket thanks to the stun jump, and that's going to be curtains for the Iceman. Oceans gets credit for that. Now it's 2 members of NeiilMah looking forward to Team Flex. Big hit out of Soulshiner. Needs to follow it up, but can't. PandaCat can. That takes 1. JiminyGlick takes 2, and now there's still 3 members of Team Flex walking away. It was originally Team Flex aggressing onto the Gold Fury. This time, it's all NeiilMah.
Yeah, and once again, all of Team Flex forced to back or to base as NeiilM gets another
great play.
Gold Fury.
Great play.
Yeah, it was just great play all around.
And I know he died in that exchange, but Ymir did everything he needed to.
Yes.
The Gold Fury is being aggressed on.
They even baited the Odin ultimate. Not that it really matters because it's up every 2 seconds, but really, like, just all the attention was on the Ymir. Hey, kill me! I'm immobile support, and they all died for it.
Exactly, and the original initiation. Blink in, triple stun, and the damage. See you later. Lassiz had no impact in that fight
The
because
gas
of
pedal
what
is actually on right now as NeiilM try to pressure a tier 2 tower in dual lane, but Team Flex is there to respond as the wall is there and a swift disengage.
Love the play there. NeiilMah goes and I'm not in their comms. Fake pressures that tier 2.
Yeah, I think that was good.
They weren't going for the tier 2. They wanted the tier 1 in mid lane. Now, JiminyGlick didn't successfully get it, but he brings it down to about 10% HP.
I like the idea, and that's pressure that's going to last throughout the game, and it's timeless. Timeless pressure because really, like, the story here is, hey, the tier 1 is low, I can't rotate anymore because I need to defend it. Instead of, like, it's gone, whatever, I don't need to care about it anymore. But since it's so low, they have to keep attending to that tier 1 tower because they want the map control.
Ultimate out of DaretoCare as he's forced into it thanks to the presence of NeiilMah and DanteLeFargo. Oh, on the horns, excuse me, and Soulshiner makes himself known for the 4th time this game. 4-1-5 /line for the jungler out of NeiilMah. He made no impact last game, and now it's the Soulshiner show.
And sadly, DaretoCare, he doesn't have beads. He doesn't have purification beads online, so he has no way of getting out of an Kuang ultimate if he is below the threshold. So he is immediately, especially being this far behind experience-wise, he is 3 levels down to the enemy jungler. He's lost 2 Gold Furies so far, no jungle mid-pressure. He is going to be severely behind for the rest of the game, as we do have PandaCat forced the beads away here from Incon's Khumba ult. And it looks like a disengage once again, but NeiilM completely have the pace of the game in their favor.
Mattypocket stunned out in his own ring. 1, 2, 3. Mattypocket on the floor. PandaCat, credit for that one, assisted by, well, everyone. Team Flex on the left side stuck in the jungle. PandaCat, the one-man army, jumping towards the entire
This is the kind of aggression I was talking about. PandaCat does not care. He's just jumping in. He's very Zadman-esque.
Yeah, and right now, left-hand side, NeiilMah trying to push the gas as well. PandaCat outside of the ultimate. Strong play and positioning right there. Trying to find the damage from a distance. Meanwhile, DanteLeFargo, quite the opposite, up in the enemy's face. Lassiz is going to use the rewind, give himself an extra life. Safely under his own tower. Team Flex successful defense.
That was a beautiful rewind. Perfectly timed by Lassiz, able to get the full amount of health as he does get axe to the dome. The damage coming out of PandaCat. He's 1 HP, but Lassiz barely able to get away from that.
Neith ult. It's going to be blocked by 17 people.
Yeah, that was crazy good synergy out of Team Flex to be able to set up Lassiz. We got you.
Yep. More importantly, though, just the threat of that ultimate coming out of JiminyGlick was enough to send Team Flex walking towards and trying to protect Lassiz, which gives the tier 2 to NeiLM. 17:40 on the clock, 12-7 read the kills, and the lead going the way of NeiLM as well. 7,800 gold for the blue team as they come out of the Challenger Cup, taking on the open bracket victors Team Flex.
And really the story here is that it's not like NeilM is dominating kills-wise. It's not like any lane is just like crushing. It's more of jungle objective gain, Gold Fury, pressure. Like there's so much pressure on the map in NeilM's favor, and they're able to take all the objectives because Team Flex simply can't answer. They cannot fight them. Which is why the kills are not severely in their favor.
Can we chalk this up to 100% the fact that Matty doesn't have Guan Yu? Is it the lack of Guan that's doing this to Flex?
I don't think so, but Matty, there's definitely a lack of Matty this time around. And honestly, I think the biggest thing here is that Incon is getting blown up. And by blown up, I mean, it's not like he is getting like bodied or anything crazy. It's more of he's getting picked and he's dying a lot of these fights. And Incon is a huge initiation factor for Team Flex.
NeiLM gonna whiff the freeze, so not much coming out from the blue team here on their aggression to mid lane. I like that decision, though. You miss that freeze, you just walk away. All right, that's our main initiation tool. We're gone. Sorry.
Yeah, I want to see a little bit. I want to see Oceans get his Kins online. I would imagine they get Kins after his Aussie purchase, and really looked for a 5v5 setup under tier 2 here to try to get something going. As we do have a 3-man mez. There's the initiation I was talking about.
And there's a coming here follow-up damage from NeiLM. Not really anywhere to take a look at. Lassiz is able to get the stun and damage on a Soulshiner through the wall. Great play there from the mid laner.
And NeiLM doing a great job pressuring the tier 2 using the Guan healing, a repeat of last game, except on a different team. The Guan healing too much for Team Flex to handle as they're forced defensively under the tier 2. And the sustain from Dante is a little bit too much for Team Flex to handle.
Yeah, NeiLM, though, Team Flex, one thing they can handle is the onslaught of minions. So without the minions under the tower, Team Flex has the advantage. Look at this bait. NeiLM going to hide in the jungle and show up when they least expect it. Oceans and Matty able to jump away. Stun is strong, but DanteLeFargo not going to chase.
Yeah, the Pickler was on the retreat there, forced to jump away as it looks like NeiLM are ready to do the Gold Fury.
Wow. And this is a surprise to Flex. Flex didn't know that happened. Like, you see the wards there, but that wasn't a, hey, we'll push you out of the jungle. Flex has maybe an idea. I don't know. Do you think Flex knows that Gold Fury is taken?
Yeah, I think what'll happen right there would be like, for example, Matty W. He was forced out, jumped away. Oceans and Matty jumped away. They were split apart. Let's not take this fight because if they were, for example, take that fight, they would be at a huge disadvantage, 3v5 at best. And then if they did wipe there, that's a Fire Giant for NeiLM. I think they'd rather take their chances for a Fire Giant fight at this point, despite being 10k gold down.
Would have liked that in NeiLM there. They wasted time in the mid lane so that the Gold Fury could respawn. Or at least I like to harp on the fact that the old MMO adage, don't fight on the road. There's no reason in taking a fight that doesn't have an objective to it, right? And, you know, you're going to fight over left jungle with no Gold Fury up, what are you going to get?
Nothing.
Boars?
Yeah.
So being able to take that fight when Gold Fury is up is important.
That's what separates the ranked player mentality to the SPL player mentality. That's the difference between a Barracuda and a Masters player. It's knowing when to take the fight because it's worth the objective or not.
I like how you just said generic Masters player instead of an actual player.
Yeah. No, it's
just
huge.
playing it political?
I mean, it's just when you, like, anyone can play ranked, anyone can hit Grandmasters, but to synergize well with the team, to make the correct calls and have the correct frame of mind to make the correct decisions to win SPL games, completely different.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest jump. Jokes aside, that's the biggest jump when it comes to the solo queue versus competitive, is the ability to work as a unit and really follow the one call.
Absolutely.
And be able to see the often misused term metagame, just see the big picture.
Huge mez coming out of Incon with the blink in there, but no follow-up, but he does force them off Fire Giant, so even though that's a blink down on Incon, I do like the fact that he's able to, hey, we can engage anytime we want.
And NeiLM can go right back onto the Fire Giant. Blink not available for the Team Flex support anymore. But this seems to just be a bait.
It looks like just pressure and bait. With the Guan sustain, they could do this all day and night. Guan's healing must be through the roof right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
as we do have a soft engagement over in the Soul Lane side of the map.
10k healing already on that Guan Yu. NeilMah going to take a big chunk out thanks to Lassiz. Ring is strong, but nobody's stuck inside, and there's the ultimate out of Oceans. Down come the Suns, and NeilMah waiting for the chance to really freeze. DanteLeFargo getting aggressed on, but heals should keep him up a little bit. PandaCat rooted. He's fine, though. And the rest of NeilMah, they're pushing. Team Flex does not have the heals they had last time, so NeilMah can re-engage and re-engage and re-engage.
The problem with their team comp is that they don't have sustain to deal with the sustain of NeilM, and if you can't match the sustain, you need to all-in commit in these team fights, which Team Flex doesn't have the money, DPS, or power to do any of that. So they are forced on the back foot, and they have to keep retreating and resetting, which means they're going to keep losing objectives.
You wanted the hot mechanics out of Oceans.
That was hot.
Long range ricochet to hurt the Hunter a little bit. This time, Matty's ring gets NeilMah, but
I like what Matty's doing here. It's disruption. As much as like he's not getting any kills or anything out of it, it's disruption to delay the inevitable right now.
Guan goes very deep, finds a stun on to DaretoCare, but quickly rejoins his team. Tower's going to fall here in the mid lane. That's 1,500 gold on the side of NeilMah, and they lead this game by 10,000 gold plus. And now they're looking directly at the fire giant.
Remember like 10 minutes ago or like 8 minutes ago when I said 12-7 and NeilM is taking all the objectives, but they can't quite find the kills?
Yep.
It's still 12-7.
But now they lead by 10k instead of a couple of thousand.
Yes.
10k and a fire giant, and expect to see. And you know, the 12-7, why do you reckon we haven't seen any more kills? Is it just the veteranship of Team Flex letting them play safer?
I think NeilM is abusing the fact they have sustained, so they can't quite get the kills, but they are doing what they need to do, pressuring out everyone on Team Flex to confirm objectives, and they use that yet again to pressure Team Flex away from the objective, which would be Fire Giant, confirm the Fire Giant, and now NeilM should have more than enough of a lead to push down a Phoenix.
And just taking a look at the builds and what everybody's been doing with their mana, you see you see the combination build coming out from the jungler, Kuang. You've got the Soul Reaver and the Polynomicon. We talked a little bit about how he's going to use his teleport to confirm the 100 to 0, and that Polynomicon Soul Reaver combination will just allow him to absolutely chunk off that first hit.
And this is what I was talking about. So we mentioned before the Amy pick, right? Yep. Especially in the jungle position. And this is what I meant. Besides the fact that they got invaded on in the dual lane side, there's nothing much you can do, especially if your lanes aren't winning. So it's really hard. Dare hasn't really got anything going. Yeah, he's doing okay, 1-1 and 3, but in terms of damage potential or initiation-wise, especially with Incon being completely taken out of the game, he can't do anything.
Well, to be fair, the laning phase was very short this game.
Yeah, very short.
Immediately,
it's mostly invades.
Yeah, the laning phase was very short, and Soulshiner looking very strong, 4-1 and 5. Didn't get many of his kills, if any, off of like
even now, like literally all of Soulshiner's kills are just Incon. Like 4 of those kills are just on Incon alone. You can tell he's just taking out their initiation and the support of Team Flex completely out of the game. There's nothing he can do at this point.
NeilMah's going to take DaretoCare out of this conversation for the left-hand Phoenix, and DanteLeFargo stuck in this ring thanks to Mattypocket, but he should be able to get out thanks to the ultimate PandaCat. Takes out DaretoCare with a beautiful bladed arrow, and that's going to give NeilMah the room they need to push this Phoenix. Firebird goes down. Lassiz goes down. Incon goes down. That is a ton of players down for the count. Lassiz, DaretoCare, Incon, 30 seconds plus. And NeilMah going to push their advantage. Look for the kill on a Mattypocket. NeilMah, the support, has a double kill, and this looks like the Titan. Ladies and gentlemen, game 2 goes the other way. NeilMah take the victory above Team Flex.
Beautiful, beautiful play coming out of NeilM, the whole team in general. And
wow, yeah.
That was just perfect. It was everything you could ask for, abusing the sustain for your team to stay in and out of these objective-based fights, and PandaCat really went off.
Yeah, I mean, PandaCat, we saw it when they lost last game. Even when they lost last game from the duo lane, we saw bits of PandaCat stuff. Let's take a look at First Blood and see how this one started off, because this was a very cheeky play, but it comes out of the duo lane for Team Flex. And as I said, that one was really a NeilMah play. First Blood went the other way because of Incon's sleepy passive.
Shoutouts to Khumba passive. Very underrated, actually. A lot of people forget and they sleep. on the fact that I'm using a little bit of your stuff, but yeah, they sleep on the fact that, well, you have to hit it like 8 times to actually confirm the kill. So, yeah, it was good. The Kumba pick actually paid off in that instance, but for the rest of the game, it didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Kumba found himself the target of much aggression coming out from the side of NeilMah. And in fact, like we said, PandaCat was a really big standout player here on this Ullr. Ullr is a character that I have said for a long time is pretty much always viable as long as you have the skill component to back it up.
Absolutely. Especially with Ullr early game, you have to play it completely different from most other hunters because he's very mana dependent until next patch. But really, it's more, he's a very skill-based hunter, which is so satisfying when you play Ullr. If you hit the bladed arrow, you bring out tons of burst damage potential. You can go Axe Form for increased lifesteal to sustain yourselves in fights against targets that you can lifesteal against. Like, he's just such a satisfying character to master and play, especially in the SPL level, which is why we get to see Ullr very soon.
Yeah, a character is so much different than other hunters. I mean, we could sit here and talk about Ullr and how different he is for way too long. So we're going to spare you. Game number 3 coming up. This is going to be at least a 4-game set, folks. NeiruMah has shown up to play. So we'll see you in just a couple for Game 3.